I'm Andy. I work for Recapp as a software engineer. At Recapp, we do speech recognition. We build speech recognition systems. And yeah, today I show you how we use Elasticsearch for an interactive platform that you can refine your utterances. You can search for keywords. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So the agenda. I give you an architecture overview, how our setup looks like. Then we go with a live demo. Then I show you the Elastic features, because I was really new to Elasticsearch, and yeah, as a startup, you always want to have the fastest way. So I show you the features which helped us with very little effort to get something out. Then we discuss some hurdles we had, and yeah, some more tips. So our Recap application is a browser-based application, separated in two parts. There is a Recap editor. In the editor, we create documents, transcripts. So then we can record an audio or video, or we can also upload them. Then we trigger an automatic speech recognition. And finally, the secretary staff, they do corrections. Yeah. After all these steps in the Recap editor, we do a publish. And then there is the other part of the application, the Recap viewer. And the Recap viewer, yeah, you can search for keywords, and you refine the exact position of the audio or video stream. So how we started, none of us knew Elasticsearch, so we did it with a classic DB. Yeah, we started to write some SQL, it was SQL at that time. Started to write some SQL queries, and it got bigger, more messy and slower. And yeah, we had a lot of pain with all those awkward queries. And we just realized it's not the right tool to do that. So then we, through another meetup, I picked up there is Elasticsearch, and we changed the architecture to this one. So we have this thin layer of the Elasticsearch just on top of our viewer database. And yeah, the query DSL, we needed to get used to it, but it's very convenient. And yeah, we could set up a proof of concept in 2 days, something like that. The default index settings were great. So you do something, put some data in, do some search, it already works, and then you adapt gradually. That was really great. And I mean, we were really interested in full text search, and yeah, in general, in text search features. And of course, it's fast. So we go straight to the demo. I will show you the whole life cycle of such a document, that you have the whole context. So this is, it's our old system, but the principles are the same. So here you create the document. Then you prepare this document. You add some objects. You define the structure. You say, yeah, the segmentation of the whole file. Usually the secretary do this during the meeting or during the sessions. There is also a possibility that the software segments the whole audio itself, but it's more accurate if a human segments. So we have both possibility. Then we do a recording with just recording, start recording here. It's everything browser based. After that step, we We run the transcription service, and what comes out looks like this. That's a real example of the Grand Conseil du Valais. That's a Kantonsrat Wallis. They use it productively. So that's the text, how it sorts the system. That's not corrected. So our system puts some formatting, dots, commas, paragraphs. And the good thing is we know for every word we know the exact timestamp. That means we can to edit it, to correct it. It feels like this.
Viele andere Banken nur träumen. Präsident, Frau Staatsrätin, meine Herren Staatsräte, geschätzte Kolleginnen.
You see, it follows.
Im Staatsrat für den ausführlichen Bericht.
You stop it, you correct, you continue. And we ship also food switches, so the secretaries are really fast with our software, faster than before. Before they heard everything and transcribed everything manually. And another good thing, if the transcript is a bit longer, like here, you can
Walliser Kantonalbank, Generaldirektion, aber auch jedem Einzelnen, der jeden Tag tagtäglich im Wallis, die WKB tagtäglich im Wallis.
You can skip around, so you navigate really interactively in this transcript. Of course, it works for French as well. The Parliament Wallis is bilingual. So then corrections are done, or at the Parliament in the Wallis they publish before they correct. They just want to publish as fast as possible. So the publicity can already search half an hour after the session ends. They already search for keywords. So after publishing, it appears here. Here is the structure. You see we have the video for this sessions. They don't speak here, but yeah, you get it. And the interesting part now, you can search here. Oh, it's not really responsive, I see. The interesting part is missing. Ah yeah, here we extract some significant terms. Here you can switch for other sessions, other months. And that's all done with Elasticsearch. And with very little effort, I can tell you. Here you search for, maybe they discuss a lot about wolf. So, yeah, you find also this auto-completion or correction things. If you maybe you write it wrong, they suggest you tourism. That's all done with Elasticsearch, and in a few hours. Yeah, that's more or less how our search. Ah, now you found something. You found this tourism thing. Well, let's search for they discussed a lot these Mercure things. Yeah, could be done better, but as I said, little effort. Now you see the keywords found here.
Brainstorming mit den Gemeindevertretern von BISP und RARO, Vertretern der LONSA sowie Mitglieder aus der IG Quecksilber, das zur
Yeah, you find the words. So yeah, that's our application, our stack for this product. Now I'm gonna show you some features which were really, yeah, where I had some aha effects as a newbie in Elasticsearch, and yeah, the features that are really a couple of lines of code, and you have an auto-completion or something which gives a very nice experience for the user. So we start with the basics. I mean, I guess everybody here, which is a little bit familiar with Elasticsearch, they know those commands. If it's readable, or can you read it? I mean, all those search queries, match, prefix, filter. I prepared some snippets here. For example, this one. So I played a lot with this Sense plugin. So just throw some data in, and you start to play here. You figure out what is the mapping, how does Elasticsearch look at this document. To debug things, it turned out that it's really helpful. So I've seen in the documentation there is a possibility to do some fuzzy search if you mistype the terms that it is found. But in our use case, it's more confusing if you mistype the wolf, but then the keywords are still found. So we go further with auto-completion, or like Google does it with did you mean. That could be another step we're gonna to introduce. Yeah. Then after you started with the default mapping, pretty soon you want to define your own analyzer. So you want to tell the Elasticsearch how to index the data. Maybe have some special fields. That is can be done very easily. Here a little example to remove stop words. Maybe I do it full screen. French and German stop words. ASCII folding for some normalization. Yeah, it's no magic. Then you link this special analyzer to a mapping file. That looks like this here in this mapping. Here we refer to the search analyzer we defined. And if nothing is defined, like for this ID here, the default analyzing of Elasticsearch did a good job. Yeah, and a good thing here, you can distinguish between search analyzers and index analyzers. So if you have some time-critical things, you might do it at index time, but not at search time, that you got some faster searches. You can do that. Then a very nice feature, you can tell Elasticsearch that it highlights the found terms in the text. So that means you see here the Quacksilver comes red. That is done by Elasticsearch. So you don't have to fiddle around with regex whatever to highlight it. Just comes out of the box. Here I tell it I want to search for Lesung in these object titles fields, and then Elasticsearch attaches a field highlight, and here we have this EM tags where it is highlighted. Another feature we use is a multimatch query. Yeah, it's nothing special. It just tells, yeah, search in multiple fields, and each field might have another analyzer in the background. This was really useful, multi-fields. That means you can attach different analyzer to the same property of a document. So what does it mean? We have this segment transcription. I give it as a default analyzer, the search analyzer, but for the tag cloud, I want to have it indexed in another way. So in a tag cloud, I don't want to have it normalized. I want to have all the umlauts, accent, and so on. So that's why we define here another field, and we give it as an analyzer, another analyzer. That was kind of special for me, when you are new to Elasticsearch. Then aggregations. For example, with this snippet, you can easily get all the deputies or the speakers which spoke the most for this session, or you can put any filter there. Should be this one. So you see Gina, Jean-Michel spoke the most here. Probably I have I messed something up with the fields or with the analyzers. I played around. So this should be the same key, Gina, Jean-Michel Gina. It's one speaker. You see the value is the same for all the three. Then this one might be interesting, the significant terms I already mentioned. With this one you can extract very easily. For example, for this speaker with this ID, I want to have the most significant terms without stop words. That means, sorry, that means it searches the words which are which appears often enough, but not too often. They are tagged as significant. Pretty sure you could configure it, but yeah, the default does a good job. Yeah, here you see the speaker, wow, refusé, etc. You have all the words. We could display it in a word cloud, whatever. Yes, and another thing we just added, that's you've already seen it in action. It's if you misspell words, like the tourism we had, Elasticsearch can be configured to give us suggestions. So it is measured by the difference of the word. You can configure it if the difference is 1 or 2 letters which are different. There are other configurations. I just put the link here for more info. And that feature is behind. If you misspell Lanza or something, it gives you the words which might be the right ones. This feature is very interesting for if you care about your maintenance. Sometimes you need to, not sometimes, very often, because the index, you cannot delete things there. You have to rebuild the index every time. So that's a difference from a classic database. There you just add, delete, update stuff, and usually what we do with elastic indexes, we just remove the whole index or build a new index with all the data. For us that works well. It doesn't take too long. But then you had a downtime if you just delete the index and rebuild it. So there a feature exists. It's called aliases. So you create a link. It's another indirection. You create an alias pointing to your index. That means you create a second index, and if that one is created, is ready, you just switch the alias to your index, and that's an atomic operation. So you're safe. Everything runs without an interruption. This one, yeah, it can be shown very easily. I think with this one. Now you see the index is a recap underline viewer. If we do it with prod for productive or something, the index is missing, it doesn't exist. Now I add an alias with the name recapp viewer prod pointing to recapp viewer, to this index which exists. Now we can search on that alias and remove, doesn't work again. Yeah, those are the features which were very helpful. You have seen it's not 100 lines of code, just some little snippets, but very helpful. Hurdles, we actually didn't have big issues with Elasticsearch, it just ran. But we observed some behavior, so the memory behavior, yeah, keep an eye on that. If you make an HTOP or something, it's not the memory that is used by Elastic. It plays with some other operating system features like file cache and so on. So be aware of that. There's a good documentation about how that behavior is and what you should use, swapping or not, or low swapping, and so on. And for us, yeah, nobody of us knew this Elasticsearch approach. So one thing is to clear your mind about the classical DB way and just start fresh with Elasticsearch. You need another mindset. Yeah, and of course the query DSL is huge, so you will find a lot of different features. And to pick the right one was not difficult, but most of my time I spent with the documentation to pick the right queries for what I wanted. And another nice thing, yeah, Elasticsearch does a lot by default, but sometimes it picks the wrong assumption. So concretely, if we look at the mapping, for example, yeah, the object description, the raw field, I don't want to have indexed. I just want it not analyzed. So I have to explicitly declare it as not analyzed. Object index might be an index with numbers, underlines, with some structure in. So I don't want to index that one. I really need that structure that I can search with a prefix or something. Like here, I want to search with dashes, prefix, that I have everything of September of that year. That wouldn't work if it is not marked as not indexed. Yeah, nested properties, to address them, it's the parent node, and then not directly the child node, there is a properties. All little things, no really big hurdles. Yeah, an example of that here in the object description. We have two nested fields, DE and FR, for both languages we support here. And both fields, I want to put some custom analyzer. I could have done it here, language dependent and so on. And to address them, we need these properties here. It's not just DE under object description. As you have seen, the Sense plugin, for me, it's mandatory to use. It's so convenient to play around. You can just get recapp viewer, the index, and then you have everything, no aliases, the whole mappings. Somewhere must be the analyzers I defined. Here, analyzes, stop words, how they are defined, and so on and so on, some stemming stuff. So you can explore the whole configuration from here. If you are interested in mapping but nothing else, you go to mapping and so on. I think there's an autocomplete. Yeah, you see everything, what's possible. And yeah, this analyze, if you want to debug your own analyzers, you can use this analyze URL. That means in practice, Where it is? Okay. That looks like this. So this analyzer, on this field, I chose the field here, this text field, analyzes this sentence I gave here. It splits it to the tokens as you see here. Maybe if you have another analyzer, the tag here we should see, maybe can. That's this. So now here we have the umlaut in, and probably if we leave out the tags, the search analyzer put it away. So you see why you need some different analyzers for different goals you have. And you can figure it out here, what exactly works. Sometimes with numbers and stuff, it might behave in another way you expected. Yeah, and the default is 10 results. If you need a bit more, just put up the number. Yeah, that's it. So that's why how we use Elasticsearch, and also why, because it's simple, it's fast, it's really fast search. The proof of concept, as I told you, we could set up it very quickly from nothing to something that worked, and then we gradually put in some more sophisticated features like the autocomplete or this word cloud and so on. And yeah, you have a lot of features, just need time to dig around. Yeah, that was it.